So it's Friday afternoon at 12:30, just before a long weekend. Is it really a long weekend? Certainly Anzac Day coming up. My name's Mark Smith. I'm Group Managing Director of People to People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand, which is where I'm actually broadcasting from today. I'm across the ditch, catching up with our colleagues here in New Zealand because there's a lot of work going on here. And they're particularly keen to see Australians cross over and join them here on the North Island particularly. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got our stat of the week. Of course, the employment numbers came out this week. We'll be talking hybrid working arrangements with Amandine from People to People in our Perth office. What are the trends that are going on there? And of course, we've got two opportunities, one here in New Zealand we'll be talking about and one in the UK for anybody looking for a working holiday. And finally, we've got our Twitter poll from last week. So let's get into it. Let's start with this week's stat of the week. Well, you couldn't miss the unemployment number in Australia this week. There was talk that it would increase up to 3 or 3.6, 3.7%, but instead it remained steady at 3.5% in March. There was a couple of slight trends. There was an increase in an overall number of people employed, and still we had this remarkable participation rate of 66.8%. There's a lot of people in work at the moment and totaling a total number of 1.9 million hours. So an increase again from February to March. So we're seeing this employment and jobs market is stubbornly resilient, I think. If the Reserve Bank is looking there at these numbers thinking, well, do we increase the interest rates? Do we need to do that? Because the talent shortage and the employment market in Australia right now still remains very strong. We'll have a look at these numbers next week on a state-by-state basis. But this week, it's good news on the jobs and employment front with a 3.5% unemployment rate. Couple of hot jobs in Australia this week. The first one is a HR coordinator job in Adelaide. They're negotiable on the rate that they'll be paying. What you'll be doing is end-to-end recruitment support, processing new employees and setting up and onboarding those employees, and general HR support. Got to be proficient in the Microsoft Office suite, and previous experience in a high-volume recruitment environment is really going to set you apart. You need to speak to Emma in our Adelaide office. +61 for Australia, of course, 8317 4804 to get on the phone and have a chat to her. Or, of course, you can simply just apply now by hitting the links in the comments right now and apply for this position in South Australia. Here's the next one. It's a sales executive role. It's in Melbourne. It's paying $40 to $43 an hour, where you'll be researching prospective accounts in targeted regions, meeting daily and weekly KPIs, and identifying new prospects for this particular company. You need to have a driver's license for this one and flexibility to travel both interstate and internationally, maybe across to New Zealand, where I am right now. You need to speak to Danita Preston in Melbourne, 03 9098 7430, or just hit apply now in the comments and you can apply directly for any of these vacants. That's it for our two hot jobs in Australia this week. Right. Well, we've got a couple of jobs to talk to you about this week. The first one we've got is in the UK. It's a senior designer in London, paying 28 to 35 pounds an hour. You need to speak to Hannah Scanlon in our London team. That's hannah.scanlon@peopletopeople.co.uk. This is the perfect opportunity if you are a working holidaymaker, you're getting on that plane next week to head over to London and you want to get working straight away. Jump on the phone to Hannah and have a talk to her about this job. You'll be responsible for collaborating with the project team to develop concepts, FF and E concepts that align with the overall design vision. You'll be researching and sourcing materials, finishes, furnishings, and also creating schedules. You need to have proven experience as an FF and E designer for hospitality projects. You need to have that to get going on this one, and a strong knowledge of materials, finishes, and furnishings. Give Hannah a call or simply hit apply now in the comments to apply for this specific role. Now, the next opportunity we have is in New Zealand, and where I am right now, and we have a video for that, so let's roll that video. Thank you, Remy.
Kia ora team, a hot new role for those chartered accountants has just come up. Either you are based in Whangarei or you're willing to travel to Whangarei for 2 days of the week. That would be great. It is a hybrid role, working from home and in the office. Initially, these chartered accountants need to have some management accounting experience, as what you'll be doing is helping support other managers of the business make sound financial decisions, as well as financial reporting, budgeting, and then creating other financial reports that might be needed to help support the business. It is a contractor role for the next 3 months, and the role is paying between $50 to $52.88 per hour, just depending on the skill sets that you can bring to the team. If this sounds like an interesting opportunity for yourself, please reach out to myself. My contact details should be given below, and then we can just go from there. Have a great day, guys.
Now, Amandine, how is before we get into this whole hybrid working scenario, how is the weather in WA?
It's beautiful. It is beautiful. We still have some sun here. It doesn't feel too cold yet. We still need a little jacket, but it's beautiful out here. Always in Perth.
Of course it is. Same. It always is, isn't it? There's always the good weather in WA. So now we're here actually to talk about this hybrid working trend. Now, it's not hardly a trend these days. Everybody's been doing it over the last little while. But you've got some observations, so share those with us.
Yes, so I think it's nothing new. Hybrid work has been around, and especially since COVID, it's the new normal. I will say everyone is asking for some flexibility, but what is new is that people are now asking for flexibility around the hours more so than the flexibility on where they want to work. So they're asking, for example, to be able to finish early, to be able to pick up the kids at school, but also for other commitments, might be volunteering or a hustle job or passion that they have. And it's getting more and more important, or work, for example, 3 or 4 days a week rather than a full week. So that's the trend that we notice here. A lot of people asking for that flexibility, saying that we do have other priorities. I think at the moment people are asking for more money and bonuses in general than really that flexibility to move for a new job.
Yeah, are you seeing, it's really interesting to see that there's a shift with hours and hybrid working, so working from home and the office and the hours. So it's that combination now. Are you seeing people trade off one for the other? So they say, well, okay, well, I'd like more flexibility in my hours, but I'm happy to go into the office more, or vice versa?
I think yes. What people are asking is some kind of flexibility from the employer. So it's just not a one-way street. This is the job and the hours and where you're going to work now. They like to be able to have some flexibility. And even though, for example, we might start a conversation with working from home, sometimes they're actually willing to go in the office every day if they're able to leave at 4, for example, but start a bit early. So it's a bit of a concession.
Are you ever seeing anybody saying, or are they bold enough to say, well, if you want me to work these hours, then I need to have an extra $10,000? Or are they trading off the flexibility for more money?
Not really, honestly. They
It's
don't,
still
or they ask for both. We have candidates ask for everything. But no, not really. When they do ask for that flexibility, which we discuss with them as soon as we met them, so there is no further down the track, things that they disappointed about. We discussed that at the beginning, and when they say it's important to them, they're usually not that flexible. So if they need to, arrange and pick up the children, they can't, or they need to organize and pay someone to go and do that. So we just discussed that at the beginning, and then we are fine. But what is new is we see people will accept. On our latest market survey, people say they will accept work without any flexibility at all, 72%, while last year it was about 55%. So people are more willing to accept jobs with no flexibility.
Probably accept jobs with no flexibility, but more money, isn't it? That's what the world is like these days. Well, if somebody wants to have a chat to you about the market in Perth or just generally about flexibility, how should they get in touch?
They can call me. It's the easiest way. They can come and see me in the office, and they can email me as well, whatever is easier.
Fantastic. And all the details are on the screen there. Fantastic. Thank you, Amandine. We'll see you again next time. And I look forward to enjoying the weather over in Perth when I'm over there soon. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Let's move on then. The next thing we need to talk about is this week's Twitter poll results. Let's have a look at those. So we asked, when are you most productive? Well, I know when I'm most productive, and it's the morning. So 50% of people said, yeah, I'm the same as you, Mark. I'm productive in the morning. 10% said they're most productive at lunchtime. I need to meet these people because I am certainly not productive while I'm eating my sandwich at lunchtime. And look at that, nearly 30% are productive in the evening. Certainly an interesting result there. Let's look at the question we're going to ask this week. And you can respond to this question at People2People on our Twitter feed or on LinkedIn. Just jump on and do that. So here's the question. So unemployment remains steady. Do you think it's easier or harder right now to get a job? We saw that it was 3.5% this week. That's a remarkable number. But is it easier or harder right now to get a job? Let us know. Hashtag P2P Live Australia. At People2People is the LinkedIn, or simply go to, at Twitter or to our LinkedIn page and let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll let you know what the results of those are next week. Thank you very much for joining us again, 12:30 on a Friday afternoon, all the way from Auckland here at Frog Recruitment. We'll do it all again next week. We'll see you then.